22 days. That's how long we have until LeBron James turns 39 years old. Yet, he's averaging 25, 8, and 7 on near career high efficiency in his 21st NBA season. I think from the exact moment the new in-season tournament was announced, we should have been ready for LeBron to etch his name right along next to it. But nothing could have prepared me for what he would do to the Pelicans in the semifinals. It looked like he was about 3 levels above everyone else on the floor, playing a nearly perfect game as the Lakers sent them home with authority. All the way back in 2014, the NBA started tracking time of possession, a stat that captures exactly how much time a player spends with the ball in his hands per game. And since that time, this has been the least ball dominant season LeBron's had by a pretty noticeable margin. Just take a look at this. During his time in Cleveland, he pretty consistently hovered around 5 to 6 minutes with the ball per game, got up to nearly 7.5 in the Lakers title year, and since then it's been a pretty steady decline, all the way to where he currently sits, just 4.7. When he's away from the ball like this, they aren't just spotting him up and letting other ball handlers take turns, but actually engaging him in action and utilizing that athleticism. One thing they like to do is start him in either corner and pull him towards the top of the key with a handoff. And the goal is to create a driving lane down the middle where he's almost always going to draw help at the nail. This time leaving D'Angelo Russell on an island for a high quality 3 that just rims out. The reason that immediate help is needed is that nobody can contain him one-on-one once he gets that first step. Here just using his strength to bully his way into a floater plus the foul. Even when he's not directly involved in set action, defenders have to constantly worry about him cutting. Here he gives up the ball and sets up for a repost, but when Davis instead swings it to the opposite wing, he waits for an opportunity to dive across the lane and catches it in close where he draws a foul. That threat of him getting the ball with downhill momentum can't possibly be overstated, and to weaponize it, they'll often use him as a screener. They opened the game with this horn setup, LeBron screening and rolling as AD gets it on the elbow. And with 2 shooters in either corner, Valanciunas forced to defend Davis up top, LeBron's left with a ton of room to seal off deep position, and that's just way too easy. Of course, he's usually the one handling the ball and initiating these screening actions though. This time it's going to be a screen from Austin Reeves so that he can attack the smaller Jose Alvarado, and to avoid the switch, the Pelicans are forced to put 2 on the ball. That creates a 4-on-3 advantage for the Lakers to attack and results in some easy offense at the rim. They'll use these guard screens quite a bit as a way to hunt for mismatches or create those instant advantages, but more times than not, it's going to be the more traditional pick and roll between him and AD. No matter what the defense does, it feels like he's going to make the right decision every single time. On this one, the Pelicans are getting ready to switch, so instead of setting the screen, AD's gonna slip, and with no sort of secondary rim protection on the backline, it's an easy lob. Here's another one just like that, with AD slipping the screen, except this time LeBron recognizes that Dyson Daniels is picking up the roll. So instead of lobbing it, he's gonna stare down the paint as he gathers, collapsing the defense so that he can kick it to D'Lo for a wide open triple. And here it is again. Davis slips, Zion tags from the weak side corner, and LeBron fakes before skipping it over to Cam Reddish, who has all the time in the world to set his feet and knock it down. Clearly the Pelicans had to find a way to not let AD get that slip off, so this time you're going to see Valanciunas back in a drop coverage, and as soon as Zion steps back to go under the screen, LeBron uses that space to step into a 3. Alright, I've got to talk about the outside shooting, because I'm not sure everyone quite grasps the gravity of what he's doing right now. Through 22 games, he's shooting an incredible 40.7% from 3, the highest mark of his entire career. And in this one, he caught fire in the second quarter. It started with this seemingly dead possession. The Pels do a near perfect job of scrambling to prevent any advantage, and when it gets into the hands of the King, he just rises over the top of Herb Jones and buries it. After that, he was starting to feel himself, so next time down they start with an early ball screen, and Herb's first instinct is to either go under or switch, leaving a couple feet of space for him to step into a near 30-footer. Then it was time for a heat check. After a stop on the other end, he plays with a little bit of pace in semi-transition and takes just one dribble past half court before pulling up from the logo for his third three-pointer in about a minute. After establishing that sort of threat as an outside shooter, I'm not really sure how the defense is even supposed to approach defending him, because as soon as his man makes an effort to pick him up early, closing that space on the perimeter, he explodes on a backdoor cut, getting to the rim so fast you'd think he's 23 again. Even in year 21, in a straight line, he's one of the fastest players in the NBA. Just look at that speed, man. The defense never had a clue. This one's even more insane. You can't tell me this doesn't look like a fast break straight out of the South Beach days. And oh yeah, he's built like a linebacker and will freight train anyone who stands in his way. So Ingram's only hope is to send him to the line. It takes multiple defenders to slow him down, and as soon as he sees that extra attention coming his way, the defense is then vulnerable to his playmaking, quickly scooping it up top with pinpoint accuracy for Davis to bring home. Look at the score after that dunk, 90-60 just halfway through the third. And that's an important number because it's the score that LeBron would ultimately check out for good at. That's right, he only played 22 minutes, and in those 22 minutes, put up a remarkable 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists on about 97% true shooting. That alone would be enough to be recognized as one of the most absurd performances ever by a player in their 21st season. But what makes it even more impressive is that he also put on a masterclass on defense. It seems to me like the tournament may have activated playoff mode because his constant activity and overall motor were off the charts. He was everywhere, whether that meant stunting a drive at the nail or something as simple as a hard box out to keep Zion off the glass. Actually, most of his time was spent against Zion, and he's one of only a few in the league who can match up physically, meaning that there were quite a few occurrences where just being in the right spot completely stopped Williamson from attacking. Look at how much space he gives Zion at the point of attack. Usually he would take advantage of that space by using his burst and power to create a lane, but instead just moves it over to Ingram. And once he touches the paint, guess who's there, ready to help? Another big key with having LeBron on Zion is it unlocks more switching. So when he uses a couple screens to get downhill, it's not just the fact that Davis is agile enough to step out and offer resistance, but also how LeBron offers some serious secondary rim protection. Here's another one just like that. First with LeBron and AD switching, and as soon as Zion gets that first step by Davis, Bron steps up to draw a charge. That wouldn't be the only charge he drew in this game either. This time he's matched up with Herb Jones, who isn't a huge shooting threat, so he's able to pre-rotate down to the lane. And when Ingram gets some momentum going downhill, he meets him early, again getting the call. How about a third? Very similar to the first one in that it starts with a switch, then some quick help right in front of the restricted area, drawing yet another offensive foul. When your 38-year-old superstar puts his body on the line successfully 3 times in a single half of basketball, that's contagious. The Lakers as a unit would go on to hold the Pelicans to just 35 points over the entire second half and 89 overall, while pouring in 133 of their own, a differential of 44. Not a single Pelican scored even 15, while the Lakers had 6 in double figures. The story, though, was of course LeBron, who completely took over both ends of the floor in game number 1725 of his legendary career. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of LeBron. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.